Hello and welcome to another episode of Tormenta Talk. We are La Tormenta. We are the official supporters group for West Texas FC out in Midland, Texas. I am here with Brian Hodnett. I am Luke McDonald, and we have a lot to talk about. And we are talking about two games on the road this past weekend. Yep. We're talking watch parties. We're talking about some events that are going on with the club. And then we are looking ahead to probably the game of the season for the supporters group, which is El Dustico at home. And so we'll explain a little bit of the history for anybody who's kind of new to the club or new to the supporters group. But Brian, why don't we start with just kind of talking about the games this past weekend? We went and drove all the way down to Brownsville. It's a long drive. Yep. Have you made that drive, Brian?
No, I haven't. But
so we made that drive like I guess it was like a year or two ago. I can't remember the last time I spent that long in one shot in the car.
Yep. For those that don't know how big Texas is, because I know we have some international audience now, and thanks for that. That's really awesome. To drive from where we're at in Midland to Brownsville, Texas is about 8 hours. To go from Brownsville to the furthest north point in Texas, I think takes 18 and a half hours in a car. So it's almost a full day of driving. So that one down to Brownsville, then to go from Brownsville to Houston, following that coastline, is still, you're tripping, 4-5 hours to go from Brownsville to Houston, something like that.
I don't think it's that long, but it's not a short drive, right?
Yeah, you're in a bus and you're riding down there with a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
But that Brownsville ride. But overall, good weekend. Brought home 4 points.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right?
Yep. Yeah, stayed on the road there. We got a draw in Brownsville, 0-0. Went down to Houston, put up some nice goals. Got our points up, made it back home. I think pretty unscathed. I didn't see a lot of injury stuff there, which is big, especially playing 2 matches in basically 48 hours. I'm pretty proud of the fellas on the road. Improved the defense. I did see a lot of that down there. So a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, no doubt. And, and all of that's outside of just having to play on Friday night and then turn around and play on Sunday night, right? I mean, just that, even if it was home games, like that's taxing. So to do that after that big long road trip. So, kudos to really all the NPSL teams. They have to do a lot of driving, and especially down here in the Lone Star Division. We're going to Oklahoma. You got games in Arkansas. It's just a lot of road time. So kudos to all those teams. So let's start with Brownsville, the 0-0 draw. We were lucky enough to be at the wonderful Tall City Brewing for that watch party, and what a crowd, man.
That was how I love to see La Tormenta represented. We packed the area they gave us. We even overflowed it. We had to pull more tables, more chairs. It was loud. We had some players in attendance. They had the popcorn bar rocking, Tall City staff taking care of us as always, man. Where else are you going to go? This is the best place to do this. Again, front of the shirt, top class, right there.
Yeah.
The watch parties are legit, and they're lit, man. Y'all got to come out. If you hadn't been to one, come to one.
Yeah, and it's a different experience. It's kind of a lot of the fun of the game. Obviously, it's difficult because you're watching it on TV. We're not doing the chants and stuff, but it is, you get to sit in air conditioning, and the popcorn bar was a huge hit. Yeah. They had about, 20 popcorn seasonings, and I will say that the kids were mad scientists when it came to the popcorn seasonings. Yeah. I did see a few of them who literally had one of each. Like they put one, a little shake, not a little shake, quite a bit of every single one of them into one bag of popcorn. And so so the watch party was fantastic. And
had a few of these hanging around as well. These nice little cold adult beverages.
That's right. So let's get into the game a little bit, Brian. Brownsville is always a tough match, right? Man. And it kind of each year you just don't really know what you're going to get. And I think the drive down there, them as a team, just in general, they've been really successful in this league in years past, and obviously have a talented squad this year. But what was maybe kind of a couple of your big takeaways just from the game overall?
Well, my big first one was, our passing still needs improvement. I mean, it is what it is, man. We're still working out that gel. We're still working out that cohesion, if you will. A lot of turnovers. We made some really good aggressive plays on offense. A few guys looked like they tried to pick up the bag and do it themselves. They felt like, okay, well, I got to try. I got to throw the team on my back, which in times when you're not scoring goals, get after it, man. Somebody's got to throw a shot in there. But I do want to commend the defense. Like I said a second ago, defense stepped up. Defense improved. Man, You saw even some of the forwards coming in. I think it was Alberto came in on a sliding tackle on a ball that the guy had beat the left back around the edge. He comes flying on the screen. Whew, clean ball, man, and not even out for the goal or for a corner, sent it out for a throw. I was like, man, talking edge to edge defending.
That's right.
I mean, our back line played really well. Keeper played really well.
That was Keegan's first game.
Keegan's, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I was really impressed by the shoring up of the defense there. I mean, to give up, 4 in Oklahoma, or against Oklahoma, and then go to a clean sheet. I know it's a draw, but still clean sheet.
Right.
Yeah, definitely shored that up quite a bit. And Brownsville is a great team, so I don't want this to sound disrespectful at all. But they only had a few opportunities against us. They really shored up, and they didn't give them a lot of open looks, didn't give them a lot of open chances. It was a better showing.
I agree, and we've talked about the back line being maybe a weak point in some of the early games in the season, and I totally agree. It's worth pointing out that I thought they had a really great match in Brownsville. Close.
It's still about another 5-7 hours away.
Yeah, I was going to say Brownwood's a lot closer. I do think it was difficult, and it always is on a stream, right? When you're trying to figure out why can't we get the ball. It felt like every time we got the ball, it was a little hectic, and it was a little almost like panicked feeling. I'm not saying the players were panicked. It just kind of felt like we couldn't really figure out what to do in the midfield. And I don't know if that was something structurally going on with one of the two teams. If Brownsville was just had read something or seen something on our film and kind of shut something down, or if it was something that wasn't quite clicking on our side. But it did just feel like we just can't get the ball. I mean, it was frustrating. It was a frustrating, big chunk of the match. And then what was fascinating was that the last 15, 20 minutes was just bonkers. I mean, both sides I think they both could taste blood in the water, and both realized if we can get a goal right now, we will win this game. And they both just went for it. And so it was kind of nice that after a really frustrating match, we had just a lightning round there to kind of end the match. Unfortunately, it didn't end up in a win, but you said, a clean sheet is kind of like a win for the defensive side. And it is a point. And I have never wanted NPSL to have goal line technology more than in that Brownsville game, because there was one that I'm not saying it was in. It's really hard to tell. I bet it was hard to tell for everybody there. Obviously, the referees said no goal. I have no problem believing that it wasn't a goal, but I'm just saying it was close.
My VAR was, the view was a little fuzzy on the end from the stream. So, but man, that sure looked like it crossed the line.
Yeah,
I mean, we may have got a partial over. This is the view, the line. I mean, you're always looking at offsides and things like that. Well, maybe, but man, that looked close.
It was close. And you can even, if you slow it down, you can see the shadow of the bar on the ball, right? As the keeper's going back, and I tend to go by the reaction of our squad, and every single person who had the best view right up there close, really wanted that goal. I really wanted that goal. It was really, really close. If it was a miss, it was a really close miss.
Yeah, and to be fair, we had other opportunities, man. We're not going to hang our hat on that, again. So we had plenty of other shots at the goal. We made their keeper work. I know that. The second half, again, really want to commend the coaches too.
Yep.
We started having adjustments at halftime, made some moves. Things went around. Some players came in, came out. we really started seeing some change. When you started seeing that change, you started seeing the defense shore up, the offense get a little bit more aggressive. You started seeing some better things happen for us. So they made some really good adjustments there, and I mean they did it in Houston too. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, and it's tough whenever you're, it's tough to talk too much about a 0-0 draw. And again, a frustrating game. I think the big thing was the possession, and you brought up the passing. Do you think that that's indicative of? We've talked a lot about just the team trying to figure one another out because we know we've got the guys, we know we've got the squad. Do you think it's just a time kind of thing? Like if we had more kind of build up, more practice, that we'll see that turnover and maybe start connecting a little better?
I truly believe we will. Because, I mean, if you look at the lineup we had against Fort Worth, Oklahoma, and then Brownsville, it's not the same. Yep. Different players, different spots, things like that. And now we're playing our third game in 7 days against, Lubbock coming to town. So you're going to see, hopefully, a little bit more crisp. But, man, the guys got in off the bus from Houston on, Monday morning at 6:30 a.m., so not a lot of time to get out and get some rest before they get it back out. I truly do believe, though, this coaching staff will make them gel. They will find the glue. I mean, if they got to go buy some Elmer's down at the Hobby Lobby, they will go and get it happening.
Hopefully it's like some Gorilla Glue.
Dude, I'll be down for some JB Weld. We just want to make it stick. You ain't ever getting apart here.
There you go.
It's going to work good forever.
So here's a question kind of as we move into the Houston game. What did you see different, whether better or worse, whenever, obviously, better result, but did you see anything improve between the two games?
I saw offensively, it seemed like the guys kind of a little bit more fire underneath the front. The midfield improved, I can tell you that. I did see the midfield improve. Ball was getting sent up. We had some good moments. What about Appia's goal there at the very beginning? Talk about a little bit of just being a crafty vet.
Yep.
Just get a foot on it.
And it's a huge argument for the press, right? I mean, I think our guys really in every single game have done really good at pressing the ball, and I know the coaches are really pushing for that defensive press, and you get to see the fruit of that in that first goal, right?
Yep. And in this league, man, if you can high press, if you can put the pressure on them and recover, of course, we've seen that a lot. People that high press, they get scored on a lot.
Yeah.
So, but if you can do the press and you can operate it right, man, you can make keepers make mistakes. You can make back lines guys make mistakes, and you can capitalize on it and get those so sweet goals that make the difference. So I think if they keep doing that and they keep doing it at a high level, they're going to be a problem for the rest of the season.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And I did think, one of the things that kind of occurred to me between the two games was Carrick Bromish. I think one of the tides turning in the Brownsville game was Carrick coming on the pitch. And then he starts in the second game, and I think you see a little bit more cohesion there. Not to mention, and I'm picking that out just as a cause and effect, right? Maybe there was a lot going on. Maybe it was a formational change. Maybe there was more. Just it seemed like as soon as Carrick comes in the game in Brownsville, things start to get better. Yeah. And then things are better in Houston. And again, may or may not be Carrick, but it is a cause, and we see an effect. And so I think we can at least attribute a lot of that to just his leadership, obviously being kind of our first choice captain whenever he starts a match. And so I did think that his presence, again, maybe it's because he has started most of the games until Brownsville. Maybe that helped us out a little bit. Well,
look at it. We did the breakdown. What did Scotty call him? The midfield maestro.
Maestro. That's right.
So if you look at it, maybe he sat out in that first part of that Brownsville game for rest.
I have no doubt.
I don't know what his schedule was like coming in for this club. We don't know how busy he's been, and we don't know if he might have gotten nicked up against Oklahoma. Don't know. But I can tell you, when he went on the pitch, it's like the lights went on. Okay, here we go. When he was on the pitch in Houston, things weren't as easy to get shut down in the midfield.
Yep.
I mean, him and then Lucas as well. Lucas playing in that.
I was going to mention him too.
A couple of minutes in Brownsville.
Yeah.
But when he went on, man, he went in there like a shot out of a cannon.
That he did.
And then he took advantage of the minutes when he played in Houston.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely stepped up performance and went in there and said, yeah, I'm not riding the bench again. I'm going to show that I can play this thing. And then again, we don't know why that was. It may have been a rest thing as well. Because remember, he did get nicked up in the Oklahoma game.
That's right.
He went out without his boots.
Yeah.
So, again, there's so many guys here, so many players too, that we don't know what's coming for Saturday.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you who I would want to start in the midfield right now, but I'm not coaching this club.
You bet. And it may or may not have anything to do with the talent of the players. I truly believe every single person we have on the squad, all close to 30 of them are unbelievably talented guys. But there is something to be said about that kind of core group that have played more regularly with one another. And we're starting to see kind of that starting 11 kind of start to manifest. That doesn't mean it's going to stay consistent, but we have seen a little bit, the guys that we kind of expect to be out on the pitch at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it. It's a 10-game season, but it's a bumpy 10-game season. You don't get a lot of rest time to recover. This isn't Premier League. Hey, we're playing Sunday morning. Now we're playing Sunday morning again. You get some rest. You get recovery time. Man, 2 games in 48 hours, 3 games in 7 days.
Yep.
I mean, that's why you need a deep roster of all guys that can play. And I believe that everybody on this squad can play. Have someone not put their best foot forward yet? Sure. Again, it's still early on. We're still gelling. We're still working stuff out. But we got some guys that are running, through a wall for Scotty. You can see it out there too.
Yep. Yeah, and even when things aren't going according to plan, right? I think Apia really stands out as someone who was just was going to give it every ounce of energy that he had in Brownsville to try to get the W, and then turning around and giving us the 2-goal advantage, right? In Houston, the first goal being kind of just high press, putting pressure on the keeper with the ball at his feet, getting a fortunate goal out of that, and then scoring the penalty just cool, calm as you like. I was
done it before. Yeah.
Did you have any doubt when he stepped up? It was as soon as they called a penalty and I see that Apia has the ball, it's in my mind, it's all right, 1-0 or 2-0. This is a great start,
Yeah. Never doubted, never wavered. And dude, he put that ball to the bottom right post with precision. I mean, just out of the reach of just about any keeper. Even if the guy guessed right, still, it was going to be a difficult ball to save. And don't get me wrong, I love a real nice, fancy penalty kick that you're going to put it right and bang it up against the corner top bins and stuff like that. But when you need an efficiency, you need points, and the goal differential matters, put that thing on the bottom right, put it on the bottom left, beat the keeper with some pace, and let's get to moving. Let's get back on the pitch and get another one.
That's right. And then, obviously, we saw a classic Alberto De Miguel goal. I just love watching him play football. There is something about his movement and the way he controls the ball at his feet that's just, it gives me echoes of last season. We had several guys on the team who were that way, and some of which are still in the squad, but he's one of those guys that every time he gets the ball, you just expect something to happen.
And he doesn't let you down.
Yeah.
What you expect. He won't let you down. That's what I told you. In Brownsville, the dude tried to throw everybody on his back. He's like, well, we can't get the ball to do anything, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to break past my defenders. I'm going to make a guy miss, 2 guys miss, then I'm turn it over. Okay, let me go get it back again. Make a guy miss, make another guy miss, make a pass now. Dude, he's playing all over the field. And then, like I said, highlighting that defensive play.
Yep.
You'll play line to line, edge to edge. And I love that. I love hustle plays.
Yep. Yeah, and big shout out too. I think we got to see some new defenders as well, and I was really happy with what we saw there. We had seen guys like Rex and Axel kind of in smaller roles or coming off the bench, but they both got some more minutes, and I thought they both played really, really well. It was exciting to kind of see. I think it was Oklahoma was the first time I'd really noticed. I'm pretty sure it was Axel on the pitch during the Oklahoma game. And then it was just like, I like the look of the way he plays and his pace. The guys who were trying to break behind, he had a little bit more pace. It seemed to catch up. Could have been fresh legs, but I was really happy to see that. And then I know you were really excited before the game even started and we saw the starting lineup about, is it Adam or Adim, who you profiled? Yeah, so not only, and then gets the fourth goal, right? And it was a beaut. But the whole game you could tell, like, this guy can play.
Man, that was the biggest sample you got too, was in Houston.
Yeah.
And I mean, young man, I think I had him at 19. I don't know if he's turned 20 yet by the time when I profiled him on the season. But what's so wild is you watch him too, how smooth he is with the ball. Doesn't panic, knows what he's doing, got some good moves, but not over the top. I mean, it's going to be wild, but by the time we get to game 7, game 8, you know, if these guys get gelling out there a little bit more, and then, you know, all our other strikers, all our other wingers.
We have a litany of them.
Yes. So it's going to be so wild to see what kind of squad finishes this season.
Yeah.
Because right now I think you saw something in Adim that maybe you start him on the next round. I don't know. I mean, you've got a bunch of guys out here that are showing real good flashes, man.
Yeah.
And now what you got to do with it, how do you capitalize with it to make them keep going?
Yeah.
Because, you know, all of them still have room for improvement. Everybody, I could pick anybody if I wanted to break down the film and just get really gritty with it and be like, yeah, well, you did this and you did that. All of them have room for improvement. Let's be fair. But, man, they are showing us some really special stuff out there, too.
Yeah.
You just got to pay attention for it.
That's
Once
right.
you see it and once you see it capitalized, man, think about it for the next round. Because, I mean, we might see that again in Lubbock, or we might see it against Arkansas, or, you know, but remember these moments.
Yeah.
Remember these little special things that we're talking about here. Because I have a feeling Alberto also, he's going to be a highlight tape through the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I think Adim is up there as well.
Yeah, and man, he looked scary every single time we had a set piece. You know, he just looked like a real threat in the box, which I'm really happy about because, you know, those can change games in a heartbeat. And then it's fun, like, getting to know our squad a little bit as players, right? We've watched the film and all that kind of stuff, but it's just different when you watch kind of the parts of the game that aren't going to make the highlight reel, but you get way more of a sense. And the first one that comes to mind is Kanata. The dude can shake 5 guys at the same time. It's just incredible how just technically, like, sharp his skill is. And it's fun now that when those guys run out on the pitch or when you look at the starting lineup, you can kind of start to see the different weapons that we have out on the pitch, right? Did you get a sense of that through these couple of games now that we've seen, you know, what are we up to now, 4?
Were we at 4 or is it 5?
I think our next game's
you're right,
5th.
it's 4. This is our 5th one this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Kanata was one that I really loved out there just because, again, he bounced off the ground and got back up while the other guy's still laying there.
That was a hard hit, too. Was that on the keeper, wasn't it? That he smashed into?
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
But again, barreling through, guys. Nothing's happening, so what am I going to do? Man, I'm going to take the ball and I'm just going to run right at you. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
You might take it this time, but I'm going to do it again next time.
Yeah, you could just feel the crunch when that hit happened. And we were all laughing because, you know, it's kind of panic, like, oh my gosh, who is that? You know, we're running up to the TV to try to see, like, oh no, like, we don't want our guy to be injured. And then he just kind of gets up and is like, whew, all right. And then the next 5 minutes was taking care of their guy, you know, which, again, luckily wasn't there, but luckily, hopefully isn't too injured. We don't want to see anybody get hurt out there, but something about the physicality. We want our guys to be tough and gritty, and you need that. I
brought
in
that
this
up
league.
too in the podcast before when I said, what do we need to see? He's like, we need to see them be a little tough. You know, we need to play a little bully ball, bounce around a little bit, and I think we saw that. We got some questions answered. Brownsville is a physical squad.
Yeah.
You know, and they answered they can play physical too, because they are going to need to play physical on Saturday. They are going to need to be shoulder on shoulder, body on body. You know, it's going to get a bunch of yellows. There's going to be some anger, some angst, whatever you want to call it, in the air. Something about this rivalry just stirs people up.
Yeah, so let's kind of move into the Lubbock game. I love one of the guys who's really active in the Discord and just kind of messaging us, which has been a lot of fun, has been Scott Fenton, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Scott if you're listening. And one thing that Scott asked, which I really appreciated, was, why is this a rivalry? So, Brian, I'll posit that question to you because I answered Scott on the Discord with my thoughts, but I'm curious, kind of, how would you answer why El Dustico?
Well, El Dustico, I mean, you kind of nailed it on the head that Lubbock and Midland are so close together. That's just like a built-in rivalry. I mean, it'd almost be, the only thing that'd be better is if Midland had a team and Odessa had a team that were, 15 minutes away. It'd just be like high school ball all over again. But Lubbock coming into the league, before us, West Texas FC getting founded, Lubbock's had some success. We came in right off the run and started having success too. And that just kind of sparks good competition.
Yep. Yeah, and it was interesting before the first season that West Texas FC existed. It was already determined El Dustico was a special event, and the history behind that. And this is going to be like, of course, to a lot of people listening, but there's a lot of brand new fans, and so a lot of this comes from when Barcelona and Real Madrid play one another. It's the El Clasico, right? It's just every time they play one another, it doesn't matter what competition. Could be Champions League, could be La Liga, could be the Club World Cup. It could be anything, right? But every time they play one another, it's El Clasico, and that's just the rival in world football. And people have kind of taken that name and kind of described their own derbies the same way. I know LA Galaxy and LAFC, they call it El Tráfico.
Yep.
And so yeah, so
it's perfect for us, man.
Yeah, that's right. And we have a trophy just for this game. Every time we play this game, the trophy goes to the winner of Lubbock Matadors versus West Texas FC. Yep.
And for those at home that don't know, I mean, we talked about it in Fort Worth. It is a silver tumbleweed. Big thing, too. Good size. Yep. Nice. And if you don't know what a tumbleweed is, watch Five Goes West, apparently. That's the best way to describe it.
Yep.
The tumbleweeds, they blow around out here all the time with all the wind, all the dust. You probably hit one with your truck going down 20.
Oh, we aim for them, man. I love seeing them explode.
Yeah, it is that's why you have more tumbleweeds, because you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful idea, because I'm and not for nothing, I just want to point out where that tumbleweed has been living for most of its life. Just going to say, it's just a little bit of, not to poke the bear or nothing.
It's just objective data. It's objective fact.
Yeah, facts on facts. I mean, so it's been a really fun rivalry, though, because when we won it, I didn't ever see us giving it back. Now, there might come a day, but when we won it last year and we got it back in Midland, it was beautiful.
Yep.
We got to bring it home. We got to have it out there for that final game, and we got to hoist it. Yep. There's some great pictures on in our chant app. I have a picture of us standing with El Dustico trophy after we won it that time, and I sure hope to do it again on Saturday.
That's right.
This is that deal, man. This is that over something as simple as a tumbleweed. There's a rivalry now. And,
that's right.
And I love it. I love the fact. I can't wait to see some of our guys hoist that thing up like it's a freaking World Cup.
That's right. Yeah, and I'll say it is a rivalry. It is if we win a single game in the season, we want to win that game. That's the one that we want. And so when it comes to the history of the match, this is our third season, right, in the league.
Yep.
You reloading there, Brian?
Sorry, I almost lost my laptop. Oh. My bad.
You're good.
It gave me a mayday, we're dimming the screen. Oh, sorry. So
you're good, man.
Bad. I was going to give you a signal, but I was like, I can't die in the middle of this stream. Not today.
Yeah. So the history is season 1, we both took a win, right? There was we won one of the matches, they won one of the matches, and we were at 50-50.
They won first, we won the last one, if I remember that right. Or was it vice versa? We won the first one, they won the last one.
I think that was it, because I believe it lived in Lubbock for that first.
Yeah, we had to go take it home last year. I remember now.
That's right, because whoever wins the second match, or unless we meet each other in the playoffs,
which
they get to keep it until the next season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a long part of the year. So, but last year, we came out a lot stronger than our first season, and I feel like Lubbock just was struggling a little bit more last year. It seemed like things weren't quite clicking for them as much as normal, because we're used to a brutal game. Like, part of the reason it's a rivalry is, and that we want the win so bad, is that Lubbock Matadors are always good. They are always good.
Oh, yeah.
And they have one of, if not the probably best fan bases in NPSL. I think they said their last game was 6,200 people in attendance. That's incredible. Yeah. And the Mozos are one of the best supporters group. La Tormenta wouldn't be, I don't think, in existence to the degree that we are without Mozos, because those guys, we drove down to Lubbock, went, and hung out with those guys, and they literally said, here's what you got to do. Call us if you need anything. They've been a really, really fantastic resource. So we want to win that game, but it's kind of how you want to beat your best buddy, right? It's something like there's a lot of really good energy between the two groups. I'll say, sometimes it gets a little ugly. That hasn't been my experience, and as your SG and your fan base grows, you're going to have that kind of thing. But all of the people that I personally have interacted with, over there, have been fantastic people, have been super helpful. They all want, we want to win. So we go into the stadium, we're going to chant, we're going to kind of like throw some, kind of sportsmanship over their way. They're going to throw some back. It's like a fun, heated battle, and it adds a little spice to the match, and I love that. But I also want to make sure that we kind of promote the positivity that I think has been my experience between the two clubs, even being a rival. It's not like, where some clubs you wear the wrong jersey in the wrong neighborhood, you're going to get jumped. It's not that kind of energy to me.
Well, we're not fighting in the parking lot. If you want that noise, then don't bring it to our house. We won't bring it to yours, right? I've said it from the beginning of this SG, and I'll say it through the end of it. If it ever becomes about negativity and ugly, I'm out.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and count me out. I'll be a fan in the stands, but I'm not going to be part of ugly. I really enjoy the friendly banter, kind of ribbing your buddies, right?
Yeah.
And again, tip to the hat of the Mozos, because they really kind of were hitting me up saying, hey, y'all should really do something down there. Y'all guys came to me, we went to them, and we started doing something down here. And now, we had a podcast going here. This is something, now they've started a podcast. I mean, we're really kind of feeding off each other. We're really growing here. Our method's different than theirs. They have a bigger, SG. I would say our growth numbers year one are very solid.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
I don't know where that number's at yet, and I bet you our buddy Chris can tell us, and that will be for the next episode. So Chris, if you watch this, do your homework, please, sir. I know that man's got it ready. He's ready for me already.
That's right. He's been living it up in Ecuador.
Oh, dude, I'm so jelly right now.
Yeah, he's going to go to some matches down there, but he did send us a photo of him at a match in Ecuador where he's rocking his full West Texas FC gear, man. Yeah.
Got the best Texas out there, all the way in Ecuador. It's beautiful. He even found me a Manchester United mural out there, of all places.
Yep, that's right. So it is a big game. It's one that we really want to win. It's one that they really want to win, and it's just fun. I mean, it's the game I look forward to every year, and I think fun things always happen. It's always got a ton of energy. Both teams, you can see it on the pitch too, that they want to win this, and you have players on both sides who have played in this match at least a couple of times already. And so we've got some history, not to mention that our head coach from last year is now their head coach, whose assistant last year was Scotty. And so you've even got this kind of coaching history between the two. There's just so many kind of stories going on with El Dustico that's just amping it up even louder.
Yeah, and tip of the hat to Lubbock, man. They're playing great ball right now.
They really are. They're looking
Undefeated on the
sharp.
season. When I was watching before we started the podcast, they were up at half on Fort Worth for their home match.
Yep.
I mean, they're playing great ball. This is what you want, though.
Yep.
This is what you want. If you want to be the best, you got to go battle the good teams.
Yep.
You know, we want to be the Lone Star champion again. It's going to have to come through Lubbock. It's going to have to come through Oklahoma. I mean, Fort Worth's improving. I can tell you that. But right now, the top two at the table, we play one on Saturday.
That's right.
And I'm looking forward to it because I really want to see what our medal's made of.
Yep.
And you know, I'm not saying we're losing by any means, but if something does happen to where it doesn't go our way, we get to go to their house at the end of the season, close the season out.
Yeah, and I'd love to do that with the trophy in hand, right? Nothing could be better for the confidence.
Yep, that's the thing, man. Dustico's found a nice little perch here over at Tall City, I believe. You know, it finds a little home there, a little home here. So it kind of likes it, the Permian Basin over here in Midland, Odessa. I'd hate to see her go.
That's right. It's going to be a lonely spot in Tall City for a long time if that thing doesn't stay home. And really, there's not a point where we want to give it back, you know.
No.
Last year we got dusted with red smoke, which was kind of fun. Didn't mind it, you know.
I mean, the match was going our way, so of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You can throw that red smoke out all you want, baby. For up on the scoreboard.
Wasn't it that game? I think we have video up on our website where at the end of that game, it just so happened that the Rockhound Stadium right next door had a fireworks show, and it was just this magical, like, oh my gosh, there's fireworks and there's smoke, and oh, what a night, man! It was so good.
Dude, I think that was the one where Frederick got that midfield goal where the wind was blowing. Am I right on that one?
I don't remember if it was that game or not.
Is that one or the playoff game? One of the two, but man, that was just some real special moments in this rivalry already, man. I mean, we're gonna be talking about this for a long time between our group and their group and everything else. Because I mean, who knows who's gonna have a classic moment on Saturday?
Right.
That's I guess that's my thing. There is. Let me throw a question at you, Luke. Who's our guy that's gonna step up and lead us to victory?
Man, I would have to. I put my money. Anytime Appia's on the field, I feel better. Anytime Alberto's on the field, I feel better. Anytime, honestly, I would take either of the keepers we've seen, and I'm going to feel fantastic about that. I really hope that Axel and some of those guys get the start. I really hope that Lucas and Carrick are in the midfield. I really hope Kenny comes off the bench or starts. I just, something about that guy, man, he lights it up. But it's tough to say. It really is. Or someone that we haven't, who hadn't had that moment, because we all know they're capable of that. And I'm excited to find a new one. Not a new one, but somebody else who's like, whoa, I didn't know he had that in his locker. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many guys that we ran through on the profiles, right?
Yeah.
Abdallah. I mean, that could be one. You don't know. To be honest with you, I feel like our starter's going to play really well, but I think we're going to have a super sub off the bench. Just my gut. Some guys can come in, change the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah.
But I'd love to stand out and say it's going to be Cole Worthmuller to start the match.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he had a strong start, and we haven't really seen him much on the stat sheet since. But I think Cole's going to come out and play strong, and then I think we're going to have a super sub come in. Don't know who it is. Can't close my eyes at point, and maybe I'll pick the right one.
Yeah.
But I like your pick of Appia because, I mean, the experience, he's been there. He's seen this.
Right.
He knows this. It's going to be a great run, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I really think and I'll throw this out to you, but the question of, what do you think is going to be the linchpin, right, for this El Dustico game? I think our back line is going to have the game of the season thus far, because that Lubbock team and that Lubbock attack is sharp and they are dangerous. And so I think we can do it, and I think we have it in us, but they are really, like, that back line is going to get tested. And I'm excited to see them kind of come out and rise to that occasion, because I think it's going to take that to win this game.
And I'll see you on the back line, and I'll raise you our front line. If we can go in high press and put pressure on their back line, it's basically we're almost playing each other's game here, right? It's kind of like you see each other's strengths, and it's like, okay, we're pretty. I feel like we're pretty set a long ways. With like, you may have an advantage here, they may there, blah 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 blah. I think if our front guys can go out there and just swarm their guys, mistakes will happen. And then our midfield needs to step in and take advantage of that ball, not making it all the way past the half line. But Luke, to be honest with you, I really think that our back line and our keeper is going to be what wins the game.
I agree.
But I really want to see our front end go and put a bunch of pressure on them. Now, Scotty may call something totally different. We do not press. We're just holding shape. And I'll be like, whoo. It is what it is.
No one knows the tactics of Lubbock's head coach better than Scotty, right?
Yeah.
And and the opposite is probably also true, right? And so it's really going to be, it could be that it all comes down to shape and how you play too, because you got two really really talented coaches with history and knowledge of the other.
Well, I mean, this could turn into hold your line, play from the back, and who's going to make the mistake first,
right?
I mean, this thing has every makings to turn into a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as I hate to say it, it has every makings to be a 4-4 draw.
Right.
Or it's just something crazy. But these games are never so like one-sided. It's probably going to be a 1-goal decision.
It could be.
So we'll see. I really am expecting fireworks though, because knowing Lubbock, knowing their coach, great coach, led us a long way last year.
Yep.
Scotty, I believe, is going to be up to that task at hand.
Yep.
And, we're going to see. We're going to see. I really feel like that we walk away on Saturday with that dub, with those 3 points. And until I'm convinced otherwise, that's what I believe.
That's right. Well, and that's faith in our team, faith in our squad. And
yes, sir.
This is about the time that you kind of figure out, really what your team has, because it does take some games to kind of, connect and understand and learn one another. And this is, I'm really happy that we're seeing Lubbock now as opposed to like one of the first games of the season, because I think it has taken us a little time to kind of start jiving. And I think Houston gave us a nice big boost. And it's nice that we do have more rest time than they do. That's an advantage where they're playing, we're recording this on Wednesday night. They are playing right now. And so they're going to have to deal with that fatigue, and have less days off.
Yep. And I'll give you one more. I'm glad we're having our adversity early.
Yep.
We won against Fort Worth. We lost a heartbreaker against Oklahoma. We had a draw in Brownsville, which you can call it adversity. I mean, I think we had a chance to win the game.
It was tough, though. Yeah.
So now we're kind of rebounding. We kind of built a little forge through fire coming through here. And I really feel like that's going to serve us well going into the last leg of the season. Because, Saturday is halfway point. Yep. So once we get through there, it's still going to be a grind to get to the end. And then playoffs after that.
Yep. And you got to imagine, too, it's only our second home game, but our first one, unfortunately, was a loss. This could be the first home win of the season in El Dustico against a really talented team who's perched up top. And so, what better way to kind of kick off a second half of the season run?
Yeah. Ric Flair said it best. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo!
That's right. And with that, I just want to make sure that we shout out, there's a cool event going on.
Yes.
Tuesday, June 10th, at the Petroleum Museum here in Midland. That it's a brown bag lunch and lecture. I plan on being there unless something comes up with work, but it's 11:30 to 12:30. And the ad for I think the Petroleum Museum actually posted this, but said, meet the pros behind the game, from coaches and athletes to media and managers, and discover the teamwork, education, and passion that fuel game day. Perfect for sports fans, students, and families alike. And I will say the Petroleum Museum, it had, I went when I was a kid and then hadn't gone for a long time until maybe a year and a half ago or something. Yeah. That place is awesome. Yeah. It really blew me. I didn't remember it the same way as a kid. Maybe that's just because I was a dumb kid, or because they've just added a lot of things, or maybe a bit of both. But the Petroleum Museum is incredible, so it's worth going to check that out. But also to be able to support the guys, and then just kind of get some inside info. You really get to get a little bit more philosophy and that kind of thing out of the squad. So I'm excited for this event. I plan on being there.
Yeah, they've done a lot of upgrading, man. We started having our work meetings there, and I hadn't been in there since I was a kid either. And dude, seeing they got a race car in there, an airplane. I mean, they have
like a lot of race cars.
Yeah, they've got cool little exhibits now that I know they didn't have before.
Yeah.
It's a really sweet deal. Now, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, West Texas FC, but if you're a West Texas FC season ticket holder, I believe you get access to the Petroleum Museum. You got free access with your season ticket.
There was definitely some kind of perk in the season, in at least one of the season ticket packages. Yeah. So make sure you check that out.
Definitely worth a look.
Yeah, and take advantage of it because, it's a lot of the reason we support this club is because they're ours, and it's part of our community. And the Petroleum Museum is this gem, and I say that there's a bit of irony because they do have a lot of gems there.
Yes,
but it's one of these things that's just so cool that people just don't take advantage of sometimes because you just kind of take it for granted that there's nothing to do in Midland. It's like West Texas FC is playing. You got the Petroleum Museum. There's so many cool things going on. You got venues all over the place. You got Tall City that's doing like concert nights and bingo night and food trucks and all sorts of stuff. So it's just not true. And things like this are fun to kind of bring attention to those things that are part of our community, just like
I mean, if you haven't gone, man, it's worth the time to go in there, check out the exhibits, get a little history of the oil that runs the world, man. Without they have replica oil rigs out there. They've got all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Take the time. Go through the exhibit. It's even if you don't get it in with the season pass, the tickets are well worth it. It supports local. So definitely take the time to go do it.
Yeah.
And Tall City's doing on Saturday. They're doing a pregame little shindig for West Texas FC. I saw that on their deal. They're going to be going to about 6 when we're going to be over at the stadium and ready to kick off. So take your time, stop in there, support the lead sponsor, go see the guys, say what's up, and then what else we got? Do we have any more events we needed to hit?
That was all I had. It's kind of funny. It sounds like we're sponsored by the Petroleum Museum. We have no official sponsorship, nor were we asked by anybody to mention it. It's just something that's awesome, and just like West Texas FC. So
that's the thing is I'm going to speak up on the ones that I really like, that support the club, that I like going to, like Pure Green. Great smoothies, great stuff. Little things like that. It's local too, man. These local businesses, I love it. I love supporting local, and we're supporting the local soccer club here. So I support the local business that support that.
That's right.
Simple enough.
That's right. And if we didn't like something, we're not going to talk negatively about it. But if we didn't like it, we just wouldn't mention it. So if we don't mention something, it's either we don't know about it or we don't like it. So. But make sure that you guys kind of come out to all those events. That helps the club. It helps our community. Helps the more people that show up, the better the sponsorships get. The more the club is able to do. It helps us all, and it helps our community at the same time. So it's just a no-brainer. I think it's free food too at the Petroleum Museum.
Yeah, so, the brown bag thing. Right?
I mean, go for a free lunch at the very least. Yeah,
because I know this week here on Tuesday they had a pop-up camp. They had sign-ups for kids to go out there. Players were out there coaching, running drills. It was really cool. So they're active in the community. We can go and support the teams, the people that support them, that help keep them active in the community. And
the club will be doing more camps for kids and stuff. Make sure that you get signed up though, man, because those things fill up fast. Yes. So if you got kids who are into soccer and want to hang out with these guys from all over the world, these pros, I mean, there are way worse ways to spend, a morning and afternoon than hanging out with guys who really know what they're talking about.
Yeah, then catch some really great advice from some guys that you might see on, big screen one day.
Maybe even guys who recently won the Dustico trophy.
Definitely give them props for that.
All right, Brian. Well, with that, we will sign off for this episode, but we can't stress enough, this Lubbock game's a big one. Make sure that we show up in numbers. Make sure that we're loud. Come sit with us, please. Come down there into the Tormenta section. You can look for me and Brian. Listen for the drum, and we'll be there. And man, I wish it was. I wish it was tomorrow.
Waiting all day for Saturday night, man. Let's go. It's gonna be a great time. Come sit down. Stay. Get there early. Be loud. Stay late.
That's right.
Let's do it. Let's show them La Tormenta. Let's let the mozos see what we got cooking down here.
All right, I'll see you there, Brian.
Luke, as always, man, I appreciate you.